Hey, what is up, everybody? It is your boy Evan. I am back home right after a long weekend of helping out the special election over at Assembly District 63. We have a special election going on there because the current assembly member was nominated to a higher office, and now there's a vacancy. So I went there to assist Natasha Johnson in her run for that assembly chair. I wish her the best. I think she's a great candidate. I think she's got it. We will see what happens with that. But that's not why you came to this video, right? I am back and the news just never stops. Coming back, we have a ceasefire. And then the ceasefire violated. And now we're saying it's all good. And everyone is wondering, how long is this going to hold up? This is a complete rerun of Pakistan and India, where you got a ceasefire and then suddenly you don't, and then suddenly you do. And I'm hoping that it ends the same way, with it eventually getting to where it needs to. So I have some news pulled up and we're gonna see what the latest statements have been. But before we get into that, I need you to meet me at my reciprocal tariff. You feel me? I need you to meet me at a like, comment, and subscription for watching this video. Did you do it? All right, I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, so we are watching live the Netherlands right now, where President Trump is set to land there shortly. Any time between the next 45 minutes or so, he should be touching down there. We are awaiting his arrival, obviously, for this NATO summit, where there are big questions where he will go, obviously, with this big discussion with world leaders. Benny Gantz is joining us now, former Israeli defense minister and deputy prime minister. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Please do set this up for us. Obviously, in this moment of what appears to be a fragile ceasefire.
Well, all ceasefires, especially when they start, they are kind of fragile, but it's a good opportunity to say thank you for having me on your show, but also to thank the President of the United States, Donald Trump, for not just being on the right side of history, but actually to know how to make history. Israel, together with the backup of the United States, and obviously with this strategic participation by the United States forces, have pushed back a very, very serious threat, both for our country, but also for the region and the world.
Before he goes any further into that, I just want to go ahead and touch on something that he said. All ceasefires are kind of fragile in the beginning. That does hold true. You'd be surprised to see how many ceasefires are kind of encroached on and violated at the very beginning. Once again, I'm going to draw my example being Pakistan and India. That doesn't mean that the ceasefire is impossible, but the issue is that countries are a lot like people in this international sense, and no one wants to feel like they were snubbed. They always want to feel like they got the last word in, they got the last hit in. You've probably been guilty of this in an argument. Everyone wants the last word, everyone wants the last hit, everyone wants to be the person that got one up on the other. And when you're trying to do a ceasefire, that's not exactly helpful.
And I think better days are ahead of us. So we'll go through this fragile era, but let us hope that we can move forward to a more positive situation around us.
Just for the benefit of our viewers at home, Mr. Gantz, we should mention that there's a fairly substantial delay between us and you there in Tel Aviv. The president this morning, as he was departing for the NATO summit, was none too pleased with neither Israel nor Iran. Listen to what he said.
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, OK, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
Now, as you pointed out a moment ago, Mr. Gantz, ceasefires in the initial stages can often be fragile. But the president was pretty hot under the collar about the fact that neither Israel nor Iran seemed to be living up to the terms of what he had agreed to. He's just landing in The Hague in the next few minutes. He's likely watching this. What do you say to the president about what happened earlier today?
I'm sure the president knows exactly that Israel did follow the ceasefire, and actually around 10 something hour time, we were hit by the Iranians, and therefore there was some kind of retaliation. I think it was very...
See, there it is, right? Did you follow the ceasefire? Because technically, if Iran breaks it, that doesn't give you permission to then break it back, right? There was a ceasefire. You could argue that, oh yeah, Iran shouldn't have done that. I'm not saying they should have. If you guys got a ceasefire, cease to fire. But two wrongs don't make a right, Israel. If you really want the peace, you gotta be the bigger person that you claim to be. All right, you already got the United States backing you on this, right? The ceasefire was United States backed, but instead, no, you chose to stoop to the level that you claim to be against.
Minimal one, and I hope that we won't have to do it again. We are absolutely aware of the United States and President Trump's effort to promote this ceasefire and to close this campaign as much as possible, and we do whatever in our capacity to follow it. Pretty much is in the Iranians' hand. If they won't shoot, I guess that we won't do that as well.
Mr. Gantz, I want to play out more sound from President Trump as he was departing there for this summit. This also was earlier at the White House on Iran's nuclear capabilities.
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there, absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone.
Do you agree with all of that, Mr. Gantz?
Yes, it was badly damaged, and I don't think it's going to be easy, if possible, to begin with, to reconstruct this site in Fordo or any other places. But let me be very honest and strategically honest, I would say. It is only the Iranians that will give up on their military nuclear ambitions. We, and when I'm saying we, is Israel, the Western world, the democratic country, the region led by the United States, must make sure they come to this conclusion as well, and they don't go back to this track. But if they will, a threshold was crossed from our side as well. We not just know how to act, but we are willing to act if needed, and I think this message has landed very clearly in Tehran as well.
All right. Mr. Gantz, you have enormous experience in all of this by virtue of your positions in the military, politically as well. What do you think happens in Iran? Prime Minister Netanyahu, when this first started, was encouraging regime change in Iran. President Trump mentioned it, but now he's saying he's not looking for regime change. What do you think happens? Does the Ayatollah and the IRGC hang on, or by virtue maybe of the Israeli military, bombing the gates of Evin prison, giving some of those political prisoners the chance to escape and get back into the populace, that an opposition movement starts to grow organically in Iran, and perhaps at some point in the months ahead, there is regime change? What do you think?
I can definitely hope so. Look,
And this has always been the goal of the neocons. It's always been the goal of Israel. It was regime change. That's not Trump's goal. That's why Trump isn't pushing for regime change. I think Trump isn't opposed to it, but it's not a goal of his, and it shouldn't be a goal of America's. Every time we try to change a regime, you usually end up blundering it, and someone worse takes the place of it. Iran, you have a bit of a unique situation in the sense that the crown prince wants to regain control of Iran, and maybe that will pan out a bit better than installing just a random person that the CIA trained. Maybe, but I don't think that's something we should bank on. I know that's what Israel wants, and what a lot of the critiques of Israel have said is that they were never going to obey this ceasefire, right? It's just by chance that Iran strikes first and gives them the excuse to then fire back. However, we will never really know, because we can't play into hypotheticals. If Iran never struck, was Israel going to strike? But it's always been their goal. It's always been their goal to change the leadership of Iran to become the majority superpower, the sole superpower of the Middle East. That's always been the Israeli goal. I think there's something that we could really learn from this. It's that even though someone may be your ally, someone may be interested in the things that will benefit you, that doesn't mean all your goals line up, right? We don't have to be 100% America on the Israeli agenda. But that doesn't mean we have to shut them out completely either. There's a thing called nuance that we try to practice as adults, but it seems to be lost in politics, right? It's either my way or the highway. We could acknowledge that Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon and also avoid pushing for a regime change, pushing for a war, pushing for boots on the ground.
Iranian society was taken hostage by this radical regime at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s. Before that, it was very well connected with the Western world. It was very well connected with us, the Israelis. And I hope that one day we will have peace again. Now, a regime change basically comes from the people themselves. And it is for the Iranian to decide who they want to rule them or to administrate them. We went out on this campaign basically with some operational and strategic aspects to push back the nuclear capabilities, to minimize the ballistic threat all around us. And the regime change, it might be a positive outcome, but I don't think it is really part of this game right now.
All right. Benny Gantz, we appreciate your time today, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Gantz.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that, right? Look, this war is very messy, and it can get complicated. There's a lot of people saying that, oh, we have to be boots in Iran. We need to push for this regime change. People that are kind of chanting and encouraging this war. You know, neocons, the globalists, people that want to subvert all other nations and impose their will on the world. And then you have the people that are a bit too isolationist on this and saying, we have no part in any conflict around the world. But that's just naive. We're the United States. We're the greatest empire on earth. If we aren't involved in it, how do we ensure that our interests are catered to? You can't just allow things to go unchecked. Because if it wasn't America, maybe it's the UK backing Israel. Maybe it's Australia. Maybe it's France. Maybe it's some other country, some other ally. But the point is, having America in this allows us to control the facilitation of it, at least mostly. Sometimes Israel is going to go a little rogue on us because they're more focused on becoming the United States of the Middle East, the sole superpower. That is their prerogative. It's not the American prerogative. So how do we prevent that? How do we ensure that our interests are the ones that are catered to? You got to get your hands messy. Us shooting down those nuclear sites is a great step. Essentially halts nuclear enrichment. But that doesn't mean we need to go boots on the ground. That doesn't mean we need to be any further in this. We saw what was supposedly threatening to us. We took out the threat. It's over. And anyone that pushes it further shows that it was never about the fear of nuclear weapons. You still want to go to war after all the nuclear enrichment was destroyed? Sounds to me like you were never actually interested in the nuclear weapons themselves. It seems like you had another goal. And that's all I'm saying. Do I like that we got dragged into this? No. Do I like how we handled this once we were dragged into this? Yes. Do I think we should drag this on any longer or put boots on the ground? No. And I feel like that is a very nuanced, comprehensive outlook on this. You don't got to be 100% for Israel. You don't got to be 100% isolationist. We can look at this in a nuanced way. But let me know what you guys think. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. If you want to go ahead and go in the comments and call me some sort of Zionist because I see the value in destroying the nuclear enrichment of Iran, go ahead. I mean, you're wrong. I'm far from a Zionist. I was one of the first people to say that we shouldn't get involved with this. But, you know, you have your opinions, and that's fine. I'm Evan. This was the video. Thank you for watching with me. I'm out. Peace.